So we just learned from a whistleblower who served in the Trump administration that Donald Trump and some of his executive branch officials had an unwritten policy. It was a kind of all of government corruption policy. Can we take a few minutes today, friends, to talk about just one concrete fix? One thing we can do that, who knows, maybe will change the way we see federal government service. Because justice matters. Hey all, Glenn Kirshner here. So we just learned from an interview with a whistleblower who served in Donald Trump's Department of Homeland Security. We learned that Donald Trump and some of his executive branch officials had a de facto all of government corruption policy. Here is an excerpt that is equal parts enlightening and frightening from an article about this in Rolling Stone. Headline: DHS whistleblower. Trump team wanted us to lie about Russia, the border, and white supremacy. And that article begins. A Department of Homeland Security whistleblower leveled a series of bombshell accusations Sunday in his first television interview, accusing his Trump administration supervisors of pressing for manipulated intelligence on three critical subjects: Russian support for Donald Trump, the Mexican border, and the white supremacist threat inside the United States. That former DHS official turned whistleblower, his name is Brian Murphy. The article continues. Brian Murphy, the former principal deputy undersecretary in DHS's Office of Intelligence and Analysis, filed a whistleblower complaint last year, as well as a handful of internal complaints and reports that all painted a frightening picture of how things were running in the department tasked with keeping Americans safe. Quote, "From the outset, there were three things that I was told we would look to manipulate intelligence on and bend the truth about," close quote, Murphy told George Stephanopoulos on ABC's This Week. "And I told them up front that I wasn't going to do it." The article continues. On Russia, the border, and white supremacy, Murphy said he felt, quote, "intense pressure to try to take intelligence and fit a political narrative," accusing administration officials of demanding information be manipulated to burnish Trump's image and help his messaging. Let me say that again, friends. He was told by Trump executive branch officials to lie, to manipulate intelligence. Why? To burnish Trump's image, to make Donald Trump look good. Friends, there is so much that we need to fix. But I want to start with one simple, concrete proposal, and I'd like to ask you if you think it makes sense. And if you do, at the end of this video, in just a few minutes, I have an ask to make. I would love to have your assistance in pushing what I think could be an important change in federal government service. And it's the oath. The oath that we take when we become federal government employees. I took it proudly when I entered active duty in the U.S. Army in the 80s. I took it again proudly when I became a federal prosecutor at the Department of Justice. And the oath is simple, and it's straightforward, and it can be found in the federal law at 5 United States Code 3331. And here is the oath of office. Quote, "I," you state your name, "do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, that I take this obligation freely, without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties of the office on which I am about to enter, so help me God. That's the oath. Friends, I propose one simple addition to this oath of office, and it would come right after the clause, I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. I would propose adding, and that I will faithfully report corruption, crime, and abuse in government of which I become aware. Does that make sense? You know, if you want to be a federal government employee, if you want to be a public servant and have our tax dollars pay your salary, is it too much to ask that you also be required to report corruption, crime, and abuse inside the federal government of which you become aware? One simple addition that could make for a sea change in what we require from our federal government employees. You know, friends, if you think that makes sense, can you please help spread the word on social media, whatever platforms you might be on, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, and I'm sure there are lots of platforms I know nothing about. Let's make that a requirement of government service. Let's make it part of the oath you take, not only to support and defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic, but you're also required to report governmental corruption, crime, and abuse. Because, you know, fighting and exposing federal government corruption is part of justice. It's a kind of justice. And justice matters. It matters. Friends, as always, thank you for tuning into these daily videos. You can also get them in podcast form, audio only. Just go wherever you get your podcasts. And as always, please stay safe. Please stay tuned. And I look forward to talking with you all again tomorrow.